Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you guys are watching this. This is a video that I have had numerous, and I mean hundreds of people ask me over the last 2 years, can you please tell us more about this or make a video about this? We're very interested in seeing why you did what you did. So, it was January 30th, 2009. It was a Friday evening. I was 19 years old. I'm currently 31. And I found a 1991 black Corvette for sale at a place called Keystone Corvettes in Mount Union, Pennsylvania. Long story short, my family and I went over, we bought the car, I bought the car, I drove the car home. I parked my car, well, I'll show you, right in this spot right here for 2 nights. Why 2 nights? Well, that is a very good question. When I bought the car, I fully 100% expected to keep my car outside because I still lived at home. My parents had a 2-car garage. They parked their cars in. I was not about to ask them to move their cars for my car. That was a Friday night. Well, Saturday and then Sunday and then Monday I went to work. I did not drive the Corvette, but I got home from work on Monday afternoon and my Corvette is not sitting in the driveway. And I'm like, where's my Corvette at? So I go inside and I ask my parents, I'm like, hey, where's the Corvette? And my dad said, oh, I parked it in the garage. And I'm like, why? And my dad says, I don't want to see a car that nice sitting outside. And I'm like, okay. So he brought it in the garage because he knew where the keys were at. They were in that house. And he parked my Corvette in his garage 11.5 years ago. And then I decided, well, I wanted to get a car cover. So I just bought your standard car cover that has like the elastic along the bottom. And every time I would drive the car and bring it back in, I would put the car cover back on the car and I was good to go. And then in 2012, in December 15th, 2012, I married the love of my life, Chelsea. And as soon as we got married, we decided to get a place to rent. And at that point, I did not feel right having my car in my parents' garage anymore for obvious reasons. I don't live here. There's no reason to store my car. So I went to a local place 2 miles from here, and I rented a storage unit. 2 months later, in February, my dad calls me and says, Junior, he calls me Junior, Junior, get rid of that storage unit, bring your car back, and park it in my garage. And I'm like, why? And Dad's like, I hate seeing you spend $80 a month to park your daggone car, so just bring it back here and I'll park my truck outside. Well, as much as I hated to do that to my dad, I also wanted to respect what he wanted me to do and save the $80. So I got rid of the storage unit. Thank God there was no contract. And I brought it back here and it's been sitting in here now ever since. In 2013, I let my friend borrow my car to go out on a date with a girl, and the Corvette met a cornfield. It was not on purpose, it was accidental. Still to this day, not exactly sure what happened, doesn't matter, it's in the past. But the Corvette was driven through a cornfield, which completely, as I'm sure you understand, destroyed the paint. And some fiberglass got cracked. There were 6 cracks along the hood needed redone, the whole entire car got repainted. And if you have any interest at all in seeing the video about the cornfield that destroyed my Corvette, feel free to go back to my previous videos and watch that video. Feel free to go back and check it out. You don't want to miss that one. Well, when I got it back in January of 2014, I'm thinking to myself, how can I protect my car without actually putting a car cover on it? Because if you don't know, especially dark cars, that your standard car cover, whether the company says it will or not, will actually scratch your paint. How? Well, when there's any kind of dust at all on your car and you rub anything over top of it, your fingers, material, anything, it's going to scratch your paint. That's a fact. If you don't believe me, look it up. I did not want to park my car in anything that was going to touch the car. Since the paint was brand new, it was black, my favorite color. Absolutely love that color, especially when it's clean. I decided to go online, look up touchless car cover. Is there such a thing? There absolutely is. And when I ordered it, surprisingly enough, when it got here, it's kind of made of like tent material with like all the sticks that kind of fold up and stuff. Well, all the sticks were literally broken into like 6 pieces. And I'm like, well, I can't use this. So the company was nice enough to give me back all my money, and I threw away the car cover. So I'm laying in bed one night, and I'm like, what can I do to cover my car without buying something that's going to protect the paint, keep dust off of it, that's never going to touch the paint that I just got painted. Which brings me to this garage, which is where the car's been sitting for 11.5 years, in this. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I built this for the car. You're probably wondering, what the heck am I looking at? Well, let's get right into it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the moment that my dad has been basically dreaming of for the last 12 years, is having his garage space back. We have not seen the garage like this since January of 2014. I'm gonna put my dad's truck in here right now, and whenever he watches this video, because I know he will, he always does, it's probably gonna bring tears to his eyes, I gotta be honest. This is a huge moment for my dad, so here you go, Pops, this one's for you. This might not be very exciting for you folks, but this is exciting for my dad and I. But Dad, this is what it's gonna look like. I know you haven't seen it forever, but there is your baby back in its garage spot 12 years later. I used PVC pipe. The reason I use PVC pipe is because, for one, it's lightweight, for two, it's cheap, very cheap, and for three, it's very easy to put together. You don't have to bolt stuff together. You don't gotta worry about it rusting, anything like that. So this is the back part of the enclosure, and you can see I have like some 3-ways here, and then I had to get some 4-ways here. For the top parts, I did use some self-tapping screws. Just to keep these together. When I first installed this thing, or built it, I didn't use screws, but over like a day or two, I noticed these things were coming out because these joints are not, the tightest. So I put self-tapping screws in here. Oop, we're falling over, guys. Self-tapping screws in here to keep the top ones together. And you'll see that as I go on. Some of the bottoms I didn't. I think the reason there's holes here is because I originally put them in there, but when I got to the end, I realized I didn't have enough screws, so I just took them out of there and added them to the top. Ideally, what I'm gonna do is buy some more self-tapping screws and go around and make sure they're in every single joint. It just helps keep the structure stable, and this way nothing's gonna come loose over time. Well, I did have the camera up to record this, but me and my stupid self recorded in slow motion by accident. So I'm not gonna put that video up because I don't think you guys wanna see slow motion of me putting up a wall, because that would just be stupid. But since I was stupid and didn't have it set on the correct video, now I got it set up, and we're gonna do this next wall. My dad is probably watching this right now saying, "Thank God that is not my garage." You're welcome, Dad. Now, since this is the end that the car drives into, of course we can't have a beam in the center for obvious reasons. So this one just goes along the top. Now, as you guys can see, this here, how it bows down, is certainly not level. Now, whenever I first originally built this thing, I was going to actually pull this up to level and actually attach a string to the ceiling to pull it up. But after I put these self-tapping screws in here, I figured there's absolutely no way for it to fall because everything is screwed together. It's just gonna sag a little bit, and quite frankly, it really doesn't matter. I mean, the car still comes in about this high, so the car never hits it. So that's not a big deal to me. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I completely engineered this all by myself. Whenever I pull into my enclosure and my windshield hits this, it stops. Thought of that all on my own. When I was building this, I was trying to think, back there we have that pipe on the bottom keeping, the same distance from bottom to left to right over there. On this side, I can't do that because I'm not gonna drive my car over a 2-inch diameter PVC pipe every single time. So what should I do? Well, I designed this little thing, which is just 2 pieces of plywood cut to length of how wide that thing is. And I pre-drilled everything so nothing cracked. As you can see here, this is gonna go over top of the PVC on this side and the same thing on the other side. So as you see, this here just slides right down on top of this. Just like that. As you guys can see right there. Perfect. And then this side is already down. I just put that one in too, so that's good. Now this, I can drive my car over a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, no problem. And it also keeps the left and right side from going in and out. So it'll keep the same square shape at all times. What I'm gonna do now is pull this thing out this way. And then unfortunately, that part of it you can't do yourself because it's a very huge piece of fabric. This whole fabric is only in 2 pieces. And I need somebody to help hold it while I put the Velcro on. So I have to wait for my wife to be able to come over here, out here and help me. And I'm so used to saying over here because I'm used to be at my parents' garage. Come out here to help me, and as soon as she can, we'll get that cover on. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to leave the video off right there. Obviously, I wanted to give you guys my experience with the cover over the past couple years. Again, it was set up in my parents' garage for 6 years, and now it's sitting here. Now, I wanted to give you guys some pros and cons. If you guys don't know what that means, it's like positives and negatives of having this thing. There are quite a few negatives, but in my honest opinion, I think the positives outweigh the negatives that we have. So, pro number 1 is my car is always dust free. Now what I mean by that is usually when I drive my car and I bring it back inside and park it, I will usually get my wireless wash and I will clean off the dust I'd had from driving it, pour it inside and be done. And then when next time I get it out, it's completely spotless, there's no dust on it. Right now the car is actually dusty because I drove it over here from my parents' house. It sat outside for a few hours while I was assembling this thing. So right now it's not the cleanest, but in the video that is going to be out next week, which shows the first drive of bringing the car over here, whenever I get it out of the enclosure for the first time, you'll see that it was spotless and it sat in there for over 8 months without anyone touching it. So it does work very well, keeps dust off, and that's why I built it. That was the main reason for building the entire thing. Pro number 2 is it's kind of protection for anything that were to say fall on the car. At my parents' house, he had an attic above the garage. I don't have that, but he had rafters and had stuff hanging up in the rafters. If anything were to fall, you know, something within reason, light, it's not going to crash down the car. Yeah, it might tear the material, it might hurt the PVC, but it might save the car from getting damaged. Now, if you guys remember back from the videos from my dad's garage, I did hang some 1/4 inch Lawan in the ceiling for that exact reason, to protect anything from falling. But if you didn't want to do that and you wanted something to protect your car in case it fell, this would be a good way to do that. Pro number 3 is something that I have found to be a huge benefit for this, is kids being around your car in the garage. My kids are young. You guys, a lot of you have probably seen them in the videos. They like to be out here with their daddy, and when they are, I don't like them being anywhere close to my car. I'm very picky about my car. The other 3 vehicles, I don't care. They can play on them, touch them, whatever they want to do. The Corvette is definitely a no-no, and they know that. But when they're riding these things around, and let's say the handlebar wants to go upside along the car, that could be a very simple mistake that could lead to a non-fixable mark on your car, and this protects that. There's no way for the bike handle to touch the side of the car. If anything, it's going to touch this, and that's protecting the car. Pro number 4, this is one that is good because a lot of car cover companies will advertise their car covers as being breathable. Main reason is because you want to have You don't want your car to be airtight because then you can have mold grow and things like that. This right here is not airtight and it's breathable. So it's PVC, so where the pipes are, the pipe in between the joints, you know, is off the ground about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch. So there's always air able to get underneath there, stuff like that. So it's breathable. Whenever you bring the car in after it's, you know, if you ran and it's hot, it's not gonna sit in there and just kind of like smolder up and, you know, be super hot in there. It's gonna be able to vent itself out. Pro number 5 is, I've already said this before, but it's extremely lightweight. If you guys saw in the time lapse, my wife and I were able to just kind of, we didn't pick it up, we just kind of released all the weight from the ground, and then you can just slide it around the floor. The material, the black stuff, super light. It's just fabric, and it's not like a comforter for a bed. It's thin, breathable, see-through. If you hold it up to your eye, you can see through it. There is a place, an overstock store. They have like a lot of supply, like over-demand supply store. And I went in there one time and I found a whole roll of this black material. I told them how many yards I needed. They cut it off. My wife and I actually went to a big all-purpose building at the church we attended, and we actually went in there and spent hours and hours lining up the Velcro, getting all the measurements, sewing it with an actual sewing machine. So it's, I mean, it's not just like glued on there, it's legit sewed with an actual sewing machine. And then I had blueprints that I drew up myself and sewed everything together exactly how I had on the blueprints. And to my surprise, because it was the first time I ever did anything like this, when we brought it to my parents' garage to put it all together, it literally fit like a glove. Like I didn't have to take it off, stretch it a little more, or loosen it up. Everything fit so well. I was so excited, beyond excited, because I never expected it to be right the first time. Pro number 6 is the whole reason I made this video. It is a phenomenal, great, excellent, amazing conversation starter. Now, keep in mind, I haven't lived in my parents' house for over 8 years because I've been married. Well, 7.5 years. I got married in 2012. So my parents, you know, they're still living their lives as normal, and they have, you know, family and friends come over to the house. And if they happen to look out in the garage and they see this big black box sitting in the garage, their first question is, what is that and what's in it? And my dad always says, oh, that's Junior's Corvette. He built that little cage around it to protect it and keep dust off of it. But it is a great conversation starter. A lot of the people that I met at the Corvettes Carlisle show last year, one of the first things they said is, dude, I love that car cover you have. You need to make a video about it. So it's been a great conversation starter for me. It's helped people be attracted to the channel, which thank you guys so much. If you have not subscribed to my channel at this point, please do. It'd be a great help. But because of the conversations that has started, that is the whole reason I've made this video. Now we get into the cons, and these are negatives about it that I do not like, but again, I think all these negatives don't overpower the positives, which is why I still have it 6 years later. So con number 1. Now this is not something that anybody who had one of these would have to deal with. Whenever I made mine, I wanted there to be the least amount of space and air movement around the car. So that's why when the car is sitting in the car cover, that there's only about 4 inches from the top of the car to the bottom of the PVC, because I wanted the least amount of air to be able to like go in there and move around. Now if somebody was older or had back issues or just didn't want to have to bend over every time they get in the car, that's the con. You have to bend over to get into the cover to get in your car, as you guys saw a couple minutes ago. If you wanted to build one of these, you could easily build it, you know, taller. You could build it 6 foot tall. I'm 6'1". If I wanted to build it 6'2" and be able to walk right in, that'd be fine. But I just told you my reasons for doing it the way I did it. But it is kind of annoying. And I know as I get older, I'm 31 now. As I get older and older and older, who knows how long I'll have this? Because if I ever do, cross my fingers, upgrade to a newer Corvette, it might not fit in here. And if it does, then we're gonna have to rethink things. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But if anyone wanted to build one on their own, it could make it as high as they wanted and you wouldn't have to bend over to get in your car. Con number 2 is you can't open your hood whenever you're inside the car cover. Now, why would you have to open the hood? Well, anybody else who has a Corvette in their garage, if something's wrong with it and need to open the hood, you just go out to where it's sitting. If you have a car cover on, you take the car cover off, lift the hood up, you're good to go. If you don't have a car cover on, you just walk out, lift the hood up, you're good to go. This I can't do. The hood will only go up about 1 foot. So what I do is I have a piece of wood about 12 inches long, 13 inches long, that I will open the hood as much as I can, and I'll put that wood underneath the hood and then let it rest on something solid within the engine bay, which keeps the hood open. Now, what are you doing with the hood open 1 foot? Well, it's simple. I do that every time I hook up my battery tender to the battery, because I can't hold the hood up and attach it all at the same time because the hood is very heavy. Con number 3. This is something that I do wish I could do still, but I can't, is before I had this and I had a typical car cover, I used to jack my car up in the wintertime to keep the weight off the tires to get from getting flat spots. Now I know that's probably not the best for the suspension. You hear good and bad about that. But since it's in here, I can't jack the car up at all. For one, I can't get in there enough room to get a jack underneath and be able to have the handle and jack because you got the wall. Number two is because the car can't be raised up because then it's going to hit the ceiling of the thing. So what I do every fall when I put the car away for the season is I take my good tires wheels off and put my old tires wheels on, pull it in, and park it. This way the suspension is still having weight on it, which according to people on YouTube say that's a good thing. And the flat spots that I get on those old tires I couldn't care less about. So for me, it doesn't matter that I can't jack it up in there, but for some people that might be a big deal. Con number 4 is if you happen to have like a one-car garage, it probably would not benefit you to have this at all, because if I need to do any kind of work to my car, whether it be detailing or changing a tire or changing oil, anything to the car at all, period, I have to back it out of the enclosure and then pull it into a whole new bay. If you don't have a second bay and you have to do all your work outside, then I would not recommend one of these because you don't be doing all your work to your Corvette outside. That would just be a nuisance. I know some people do, and more power to you. That's great. Nothing wrong with that. But if you truly do care about your paint, then that's probably why you'd want one of these. And at that point, you probably wouldn't want to be working on it outside for any length of time. Con number 5 is not really a con. It's just something that I wanted to mention in case anyone is interested in one of these, is whenever I have my battery tender that I plug in the fall, you can't just hook it through a wall and hook it in your car. You have to kind of feed the wires through. So what I do is I just take some of the Velcro off the bottom right here and just feed the wires out through, and then they can stick through. That's not really a con, it's just kind of it's an extra step, I would say. But I wouldn't really list that as a con. It's just something that you have to do that you wouldn't have to do if you didn't have one of these. Con number 6, I have absolutely loved and missed being able to just like open up the garage door, the swinging door, and see the car sitting in the garage. Like at my parents' house, I can never just walk in the garage and see the car. I'd have to walk in the car and see a black box, which is not attractive. I mean, is that attractive? No, definitely not. But you'd have to go out and open up the flipping doors that I put on there. Then you see the car. But you can't actually have that excitement of opening your garage and boom, there's your beautiful car. You can't see that. Which I don't really care for. Con number 7, again, is something that I just realized. It's been so long since this has happened to me. But being able to back the car into a garage and have the amazing exhaust that car has that I love and I get a lot of compliments on, which thank you guys so much for your feedback on that. When it's in there and the car is facing outside, when you start the car, the exhaust is going right outside. There's no kind of like echo or bounce back at all. Whenever the car is sitting in here and you start it, because it's bouncing off the walls and the ceiling, the sound is like 3 times louder. It sounds so cool. It rumbles, it pops, it makes all those amazing sounds that most of you guys probably all really enjoy. And when it's in there, you can't hear them when you first start the car. Now, of course, you still hear the exhaust, but you don't hear it like echoing and bouncing off a wall like you're going through a tunnel or something. So, ladies and gentlemen, that completely completes the pros and cons. There was one more con than there was pro, but again, as I said a couple times already, none of those cons really make it worth me not having this. The pros of that this thing protects my car, it benefits way over the cons that I listed. And like I said, some of those cons really aren't even cons. They're just like an extra step because of having it here. But I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. I know this has been a video that I have had so many people asking me about. I have been really struggling on whether to make the video or not because it was my own design that I thought of in the shower one night. Well, I think I was in bed, and do I share my thoughts to other people? I didn't really know, but since I had so many people asking about it, I wanted to give you guys what you wanted. That's kind of what I want the channel to be. If you guys want to see something, I want to make that for you. I want to give you guys what you want. I love you guys. You guys mean the world to me, and you guys have really helped. And at this point right now, I am 12 subscribers away from 2,000, which is awesome. I never thought I was going to get there, so thank you guys so much. Actually, July 23rd of last year was whenever I hit 1,000, so I basically gained 1,000 in 1 year, which for some channels that's a lot, for some channels that's not much at all, but for my channel, I'm very happy, I'm very pleased, I'm very thankful for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys liked what you saw. I hope you guys understand now a little bit more of why I built this, why I do have this. This is why I do what I do and why I did what I did. It's all for Katie. It's not for my own pleasure. It's to keep her safe, to keep her clean, to keep her looking good. Every time I pull it out to go somewhere, I don't have to wash it or clean it right before I go. It's already ready to go as long as I cleaned it before I put her in there. So if you guys did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys did not like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Take care now. See you later. Alright guys, I don't know if I'm going to put this in at the end of the video or not. I've been talking to a few of my friends to get their opinions, and they said, yeah, why not? Just throw it in there and see what happens. Believe it or not, when I first built this in 2014, I actually sent pictures of this with my car in it and out of it so they could see kind of what it is to a company who does car stuff. I'm not going to name the company, but I guarantee you if I told you the name, every single one of you watching this would know the company. So it's a very well-known company. It's a big name company. But they asked me where I got the idea from. I told them it was on my own. And they actually told me that they wanted to help me sell this product. Now, when I first built it, did I ever have intentions of selling it? No, I never thought it was going to work, to tell you the truth. I didn't expect it to work as good as it does. But this company told me, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make 10 of them and try to sell them. And if you can sell 10 and show me the proof of it, I will help you sell this product for their business. So basically, I'd probably be, I guess, kind of selling the idea to them to sell the product, but then I would kind of, I guess, get some of the earnings from it. I don't know how that works. I have no idea how that stuff works. But I kind of wanted to get your guys' feedback on, is this something that you guys would want for your garage? Watching this video, have you guys thought, man, I'd like to have one of those, or I wish you could build me one? If this was on the market and you wanted to get one of these, would you want one? Would you buy one? Do you guys have interest in one? Do you think it's something that I would have success at selling if I were to eventually get to that point? Do you think I'd have any problem making and selling 10 of them? It is a lot of time and work to make 10. The PVC part is simple, as easy as pie. It was the fabric part that I would probably have to get some other kind of idea, something simpler. I think I have the person and the idea. I would just have to confirm everything if it's something that I knew people want to see or have in their own garage. So there is a website called Kickstarter.com that a good friend of mine has told me about. It's kind of it's asking people to help them start a business or get money to be able to go further with starting a business. So that might be something I want to do down the road. At this point, I haven't even went to the website yet. I just heard what my friend had to say. But just want to get your guys' feedback. If it's something you guys think I could possibly sell in the future, if it's something you guys could buy. I do already have a big name company who has already told me that they would like to help me sell this if it's possible. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys would be willing to help with that, whether it be ideas, financially, or whatever. I'm all ears. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let a comment below. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your guys' support. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.